All right, somebody sent this to me. I was curious. It's about IShowSpeed. I think he got arrested a while back, and I was like, oh, that stinks. I don't really know anything about it, but this is a video from Audit. The Audit. I think that's a car, right? I don't know. It's about IShowSpeed. It's called "Cops Handcuff Famous YouTuber Over a Prank." Interesting. The only thing that's so interesting to me, and I could be 100% wrong, but I swear when I was first sent this video by a fan, shout out to Linda, the title was actually like YouTuber, like black YouTuber handcuffed over a prank. I'm almost positive that he had, like, I could be wrong. I'm almost positive though that he put the word black in the title, which was like, why do you need to bring up his race? But I could be wrong about that. Whatever, let's watch it. It was just a prank, officer. Let's get it going. I will say IShowSpeed is a menace though. My video should not be construed as legal advice. And I'm not reading the rest, but I got you, brother.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers live streaming, swatting, and reasonable suspicion, and it's brought to us by Law and Crime Network's channel.
Oh, yeah, somebody said they wanted me to look at Pokimane saying something about a law. If you guys want to send that to me or tell me where I could look for it, let me know.
Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve. On
Maybe
August
I was
8th,
just thinking that it was the black thing. Maybe I'm the true racist.
8th, 2022.
I don't think so, though.
From the Cincinnati Police Department in Cincinnati, Ohio, responded to the home of YouTuber Darren IShowSpeed Watkins, who...
His name is Darren Watkins? I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. It's so weird. Is his middle name really IShowSpeed, though?
Who, as of the date of writing this episode, has 13.7 million subscribers. After law enforcement...
Hey, good for him. He has 14.1 if you see that in the thing. So, good for IShowSpeed. He's really blowing up.
Received a call from someone claiming that Mr. Watkins had a firearm and was going to hurt himself and his family. The ensuing interaction was captured on an officer's body camera.
Wait, somebody said that he had a gun? Someone's like, would this be considered swatting?
Hey, how you doing? You alright? Come here real quick. If you're real quick, I'll explain. You're not in any trouble.
What the heck?
You say you're not in any trouble? What? I just going right for the handcuff.
If you're real quick, I'll explain. You're not in any trouble.
What the
You're not in any trouble, just need to handcuff you.
heck?
Come to the back.
No, bro. Hey.
Hold on, I'll tell you what.
Hey,
Hold on.
hey,
Let's talk. We're here to talk.
Hey,
I'll tell you what. Good.
Whoa, relax.
Come to the back. Come to the back.
Yo, get my phone, bro. Get my phone. Get my phone. It's right there.
I guess that they think he has a firearm, but is this really protocol?
Right there. Let's go live, bro. Let's go live. Press it, bro. Right now, bro. We'll explain. Press public, bro. Press public. Real shit, bro. What is going on right now?
We're gonna talk to you.
Go live, bro.
Yeah, you're not in trouble with your... I think it's called detained.
What did I do? Bro, press it, dude. Let's go. What did I didn't do nothing, though.
No, we're going to explain. Take a minute, listen. Someone in your name called. Hear me out. You ready?
What did I do, bro?
You're gonna listen to me? He's trying to explain to you. Yeah, we're gonna explain to him.
Bro, I didn't. Yo, bro. Oh my God, bro.
Why are they censoring his face? I'm just curious.
I swear I didn't do nothing, bro. Chill.
Away from us, guys.
And we are going to explain. Okay. What's going on? That's what that is. Y'all know what's swatting?
Who's this white kid? I don't understand. I understand why they... I don't know why... Well, why they... Wait. What's happening here? Is it because he's underage? Maybe. Why'd they have IShowSpeed handcuffed but not this other kid?
Yeah, it happened to his boy Aiden last night. Okay, so this is one of those silly things that people...
Yeah.
Well, and he didn't
You know who
SWAT
he is, right?
I don't know who he is. I don't know any of that.
Right now.
Okay.
I don't care about it.
We don't care
Well, I'm
about
just
any
letting you
of
know
that.
that's the situation. Like that.
Okay.
He got swat. That's what it is. Someone called
Oh, he got swatted.
him in.
Yeah, somebody... That sounds like what it is. It's a cameraman.
You can look on what.
No, I believe you. I believe that that's
We've
the thing.
been live for the past 2 hours.
Live doing what? Waiting for this to happen?
No. Breaking up.
The cop just doesn't understand. That the way the cop interpreted it makes it sound worse because he's like, we've been live for 2 hours, we got swatted. So we know what that means. What we know is that by the way, thank you so much for the medium gut, the Stacks Casino. What we know what it means is that is that like he's been live streaming and somebody like found his information and they sent like a SWAT team over there, right? But what the cop is hearing is like, oh, you've been live streaming, waiting for us to show up because you wanted to like commit a particular act of violence. That's how he's interpreting it, and it's like, oh no, that's not the way you're supposed to interpret that.
PS4, he plays video games live on stream. Like I said, there's 100,000 people watching. Okay, that's what he does.
We're going to shut that part down for right now.
My stream office is not working.
We're going to do that while we have a conversation.
Over the protests of Mr. Watkins' friend, the officer turns off the live stream on Mr. Watkins' phone while they discuss the situation.
Lagoon super chatted $4.99.
Thank you, brother.
Papa Goat, how you been today?
I've been alright, man. How have you been doing?
As we have discussed many times on ATA, the Supreme Court has not explicitly held that the First Amendment protects the right to film government officials performing their duties in public. However, based on relevant Supreme Court First Amendment precedent, 6 of the 12 U.S. Courts of Appeals have recognized a First Amendment right to film law enforcement officers while they are carrying out their official duties in a public place.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Okay.
Notably,
imagine you couldn't. That'd be crazy.
Sixth Circuit, which has jurisdiction over Ohio, is one of the 6 courts of appeals that have not yet acknowledged that filming the police is covered by the First Amendment.
What?
However, even in jurisdictions that have determined that recording law enforcement officers is protected speech, the issue as to whether the same safeguards apply to live streaming is largely unsettled. In the 2021 case of Sharp versus Winterville Police Department, the United States District Court for the Eastern District of North Carolina, which is part of the Fourth Circuit, a jurisdiction that has not recognized the First Amendment right to film the police, held that officers did not violate the First Amendment when they ordered DeJohn Sharp, who was a passenger in a vehicle subject to a routine traffic stop, to stop live streaming the encounter. Claiming a safety issue, the officers told Mr. Sharp that he could film the interaction, but he could not simultaneously broadcast it. The court determined that, quote, assuming without deciding that the First Amendment entitled Sharp to record the traffic stop from inside the car during the traffic stop, the First Amendment did not entitle Sharp to live stream the traffic stop from inside the car during the traffic stop. And that, quote, in light of existing precedent and the differences between recording and live streaming from inside the stopped car during the traffic stop, the court rejects Sharp's argument that the First Amendment provided him a right to live stream a traffic stop from inside the stopped car.
That's weird. So they're arguing that recording something on your phone, like offline, is different from live streaming from a legal perspective, like from a police interactions. And I guess I get it. On the one hand, when you're just recording and not on like a live stream, it's just you protecting yourself, and you have that recording for later. Whereas on a live stream, it might encourage other people to involve themselves in some capacity, or it might encourage sensationalization of a situation. You know, like people who like live stream, like bullying the cops or something. I don't know, or killing people. On the other hand, though, for live streaming, the positive to that is like, what if the police officer's an asshole, decides to like destroy your phone or something, and like the live stream just immortalizes it. I feel like live streaming should be okay. I guess I kind of get it, but I feel like you should be able to live stream it. I mean, I guess it depends. Like if you got 20,000 people watching you, they don't want to encourage them to like harass the police, but I feel like you should be able to. I feel like you should be able to live stream it, right? I don't know. This is very new to me, like this concept. So I got to think about it. But right now, I feel like you should be able to live stream it, just in case the police officers start to act like a bunch of fucking goobers. Interesting.
Mr. Sharp appealed this decision, and in early November 2022, the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments for the case. However, instead of focusing on the First Amendment implications of this case, it was reported that the judge's questioning seemed to center around whether an officer can prevent an individual from live streaming without violating the Fourth Amendment prohibition on unreasonable seizures. As of the date of writing this episode, this case is still pending, and it will be interesting to see what the Fourth Circuit decides, and on what constitutional grounds it bases its decision.
All this legal conversation's crazy. Should potty cans be live? Yeah, they should do it live on Twitch, honestly. It might revitalize the platform. Hey, $100 donation to commit a systemic racism, right? That's all it takes, dude.
They're making us turn it off. But we'll keep you updated. That's his mom calling him.
Well, his dad's out front.
We're talking to his dad out front.
Okay.
I'm just his cameraman. That's all I am. But he lives in Miami. Same thing happened to him last night. There's something going on right now. They're swatting. It's the thing that people do. They find that his address has been leaked.
Well, somebody got killed doing that.
Yeah.
Where was that? That was...
That's why he's freaking out, because he knows the risk of it.
Yeah, that's...
So you're saying somebody
I know
called us
Yeah, I know for sure.
with some BS.
Yeah, and if you don't believe me, you can. We literally just ended a live stream. He's been streaming for the past 3.5 hours, 2 hours, 3.5 hours.
Okay.
You can see everything he's done for the past 2.5 hours. Okay. So.
Imagine being like a police officer that has to watch through that live stream. for evidence or something.
Do me a favor, you can walk out here with us.
Yeah.
Leave your
These
phone.
cops seem like they're being reasonable.
Here, I'll carry it for you.
Mr. Watkins' friend explains to the officers that Mr. Watkins has been, quote, swatted, and offers to show them footage from Mr. Watkins' live stream from the last few hours. Generally, swatting involves fake emergency calls
Who's this guy? What the heck?
claiming that a violent crime is about to take place or is already in progress, with the goal of provoking a significant police response, often including the deployment of special weapons and tactics, or SWAT teams, to the home of the individual being swatted. A large portion of the swatting incidents that occur involve individuals such as Mr. Watkins, who engage in online gaming and live streaming. Swatting can typically be prosecuted under Section 2917.32 of the Ohio Revised Code, which makes it a crime to, quote, report to any law enforcement agency an alleged offense or other incident within its concern, knowing that such offense did not occur. However, if the state legislature passes pending legislation House Bill 462, it would create a separate offense that specifically addresses swatting. The proposed text states that, quote, no person by means of a telecommunications device or telecommunications service shall purposely trigger an emergency response when no emergency response is warranted by reporting or causing to be reported false or misleading information to a law enforcement agency, emergency service provider, or public safety answering point. Whoever
It's probably a good thing that we are. When it comes to stuff on the internet, I feel like the law is just not up to par on stuff. Like we need to, I don't know, and just in general. Like I think the most classic example is Amazon. From a long time ago when they took a huge financial, I think it was like a $3 billion loss just so that they can price gouge and put bookstores out of business. And like, I think they were only able to really do that because they were an online business and people couldn't really, like we didn't really have the infrastructure or the laws to really deal with that, you know? So like, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Okay, they should update it. I mean, we have to start, talking about online stuff, you know? We haven't really adjusted. Congress moves incredibly slowly.
Whoever violates this section is guilty
Just like me.
of swatting. Additionally, many swatting incidents can be
It's kinda
prosecuted
bad,
under
though.
federal law. For instance, Section 1038 of Title 18 of the United States Code prohibits engaging, quote, in any conduct with intent to convey false or misleading information under circumstances where the information may reasonably be believed or where the information indicates that certain criminal activity has taken place, is taking place, or will take place, including homicide or attempted homicide. Likewise, Section 875 of Title 18 of the United States Code prohibits interstate threats, stating that, quote, whoever transmits into interstate or foreign commerce any communication containing any threat to injure the person of another shall be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 5 years or both. Without knowing the exact details of where the caller in this situation was located and what they explicitly said, it is challenging to know which particular crimes they could be charged with for swatting Mr. Watkins. Still, it seems likely that the individual
Well, are they ever going to be able to catch the guy,
responsible for Mr. Watkins' swatting could be prosecuted for the violation of at least one of these statutes.
Listen to me. Someone called the 911 center and said, with your name, that you wanted to hurt your family and hurt yourself. So we came to make sure you're okay.
All right, just listen to me.
Okay.
I am a popular streamer. I am a YouTuber, okay?
Come on.
I have 10... Let me talk.
So guess what?
Okay,
If
hold
you're
on, wait.
good, you may be out of these cuffs, but relax.
Okay.
We're on your side.
All right.
We're here to make sure you're not going to harm yourself. Right?
All right.
Now,
just-
people
all right.
dox people, right?
Oh, yeah. All right, look,
That's
let me
it.
talk, okay?
Come
I am a popular streamer. I have 10 million subs. You know what a streamer is, right?
Sure, I guess. Okay, so tell
I feel like most people don't. I didn't know what streaming was until I started streaming,
us about the streamer. What'd you say?
I
Did you
didn't
say,
do nothing.
were you trying to be funny?
No, I didn't do nothing.
Well, apparently someone called a help center out in Iowa and said, and I want to kill myself, my family.
No, he's lying. It's
Just hear me.
obviously a lie. It's a lie.
Well,
okay?
we're here to make sure, right?
Oh, yes.
Because of school shooting.
I understand I honestly feel like these cops are operating well, just from what I'm seeing. I could be wrong about some part of it. I mean, they show the body camera, all that, but like, yeah, the cops think this is the one thing. The cops think that this kid called them up and said, "I'm going to hurt people," and the kids, IShowSpeed's like, "No, I didn't call anybody. What are you talking about?" So obviously there's a discrepancy there, but they have to just make sure, especially with like, yeah, they were just talking about school shootings are like crazy. People are shitting on cops, rightfully so, for like their response to the one in Texas. So they should be extra cautious without violating anybody's rights. Happy New Year's to you too.
Right?
Yes,
Be on my side.
yeah.
Work with me. All right. Well, let's put you in the car and then guess.
And it's obviously also, on the other hand, IShowSpeed is going to be a little bit frustrated and he's going to be like, his heart's racing. He's anxious. We all would be. And it's the cop's responsibility to like calm him down and not exacerbate the situation, So,
That's what.
All right. This is
you guys are so annoying in the chat.
y'all-
The cops are doing a really great job at listening to the black kid. Incredible.
yeah, like I'm trying to calm down, but it's like it's
overwhelming, right?
yeah, it's just a streamer's lie. It's a streamer's lie.
You think they tried to like trick you?
Yes, it's a streamer's lie. They called somebody called.
I know y'all been drinking my
I know
house.
Are you exactly.
Drinking my house.
You say they've been drinking in the house? What?
I just told him that. Exactly. I keep telling I'm a.
We're just trying to figure it out right now.
I mean, it's not really that much. Exactly.
But they have to do like a little investigation first, you know what I mean? They, like, God forbid, like, imagine that he actually did call it, like, she didn't, but imagine he did from like what they think, and then they left and he like started hurting people. Like now they fucked up, you know?
This is prank call. I keep telling y'all, I can't really.
They got a lot of
explain it
police. Oh my god!
But you know, it's just like, you know what Twitch is? Twitch, YouTube.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, you know, I'm famous, you know, and I'm popular, you know. And
They're probably
Hey, you gotta brag to everybody, baby.
or something like
yeah,
that.
no, there's
Oh, she said they were pranking the house, not drinking in the house. Okay.
just trolls, like it's just common trolls. Well, this,
Personally, I would prefer Corey in the house. Well, no, I wouldn't, because he's a fucking weirdo. I think he has some weird shit going on.
oh my, I know, but it's a call. That's why we got to do our job.
My thing is, could you at least have the kid put a shirt on? You know what I mean? Like let him put a goddamn shirt on. He's fucking shirtless and a bandana around his neck. Just be like, hey, do you want a shirt? Maybe they're just putting him in the car, but that's, you know.
The officers handcuff Mr. Watkins and place him in the back of one of the cruisers. Although the line between a reasonable suspicion-based Terry stop and a probable cause-based arrest can be confusing, courts have consistently held that in some situations, officers may use restrictive methods such as handcuffing and placing a suspect in a police vehicle during a Terry stop without converting it into a full-blown arrest. However, it is uncertain in this situation whether the officers even had the requisite reasonable suspicion required to be able to constitutionally detain Mr. Watkins in any way. As the Supreme Court explained in the 1972 case of Adams versus Williams, quote, "Informants' tips, like all other clues and evidence coming to a policeman on the scene, may vary greatly in their value and reliability. One simple rule will not cover every situation. Some tips, completely lacking in indicia of reliability, would either warrant no police response or require further investigation before a forcible stop of a suspect would be authorized."
Well, this is this is one of the things about laws. It's so up to interpretation, where it talks about, you know, some tips, basically lacking reliability wouldn't warrant this response. But the problem is in our current social climate, with like the uprising of school shootings and whatnot, they're of course going to be very aggressive against this. I mean, it makes sense to me what they're doing, even if it's not fair to Speed. It's not. But is it the cops' called or the person called? You know.
But in some situations, for example, when the victim of a street crime seeks immediate police aid and gives a description of his assailant, or when a credible informant warns of a specific impending crime, the subtleties of the hearsay rules should not thwart an appropriate police response.
Yeah, that makes
Relying in part on this decision, the Supreme Court determined in the 1990 case of Alabama versus White that although an anonymous tip alone seldom justifies a Terry stop, when sufficiently corroborated, it can exhibit, quote, "sufficient indicia of reliability to furnish..."
What the fuck does indicia mean? Why are they talking about weed inside this? I mean, come on, dude. My fucking brain is melting. In general, signs of indications. Oh, it's an indication. Sufficient indications of reliability. Bro, why are you talking about indica, dude?
Reasonable suspicion that the suspect was engaged in criminal activity and justify an investigatory stop. However, the Supreme Court also held in the 2000 case of Florida versus JL that an anonymous tip that an individual was carrying a gun was insufficient on its own to justify a police officer's stop and frisk of that person. The court explained that, quote, "The tip in the instant case lacked the moderate indicia of reliability present in White and essential to the court's decision in that case."
Well, yeah, but in that case, that seems like it's a southern state, from my understanding, right? It was Arkansas or something. And so just the existence of holding a gun, which is, I think, illegal in that state, that obviously wouldn't be enough for you to be able to stop somebody. But in this case, they would be a little different, right? Because he didn't threaten at all, but like the call was that he threatened, you know?
Lack the moderate indicia of reliability present in White and essential to the court's decision in that case. The anonymous call concerning JL provided no predictive information and therefore left the police without means to test the informant's knowledge or credibility. All the police had to go on in this case was the bare report of an unknown, unaccountable informant who neither explained how he knew about the gun nor supplied any basis for believing he had inside information. Given the highly fact-specific level of analysis required for this type of determination and the limited and conflicting details we have about the individual who called 911 and what he said, it is nearly impossible to predict what a court would decide in this situation. However, if the tip was made anonymously and did not include any information besides Mr. Watkins' name and address, it seems likely that a court would conclude that the officers did not have the reasonable suspicion to detain him without additional corroborating evidence.
I've never been in the cop.
Well, yeah, there are a lot of cop cars, but it's probably because, you know, they got like a potential shooting called in, so they're trying to be, you know, well equipped.
She don't have anything on you.
I'm about to kill myself. I'm straight. I know.
We just gotta do our job.
You his mom?
Please, they pranking my house.
Are you his mom?
Yes,
Okay,
they prank my.
I feel so bad for his parents, by the way. It seems like Speed has like incredibly like good and loving parents, and every single time something happens, they're just dealing with so much shit. Like the fireworks thing where he's lighting fireworks off in his room. It's like, oh my god. Oh my lord.
They prank our house all the time.
Well, let us figure it out.
Oh my God,
we were
y'all,
concerned.
this ought to stop. No, y'all taking my son over.
No, we're not
People
taking
keep
him.
breaking my son. Y'all got him in handcuffs right now.
Well, we're going to make sure he doesn't want to harm himself.
No, he ain't gonna harm himself. Go in our house right now.
Here, I'm on your side. I got 5
Let me
kids.
calm,
Okay, calm down first.
Then
Then
talk
talk
to
to
me. For no.
Listen, here's my thing. I know that, like, well, first of all, she's justifiably pissed off, and it's the cop's job to deal with her. That's his fucking job. But like, I don't think telling somebody to calm down is like the best thing to say when somebody needs to calm down. You know what I mean? It's like, calm down. I'm calm. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I understand. Like, you just sit there, I understand. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing else you can do. Calm down. That usually doesn't prompt me to calm down. It makes me fucking worse. Pisses me off.
Well, come talk to us. We can let him out of cuffs.
He's about to go with his.
But because of school shootings, we take it
I
serious.
understand that he's not about to kill nobody. This is constant pranks. Constant pranks.
Hey, Sarge, this is his mom, and
The police are surrounding my house right now.
Oh my god, there's bees everywhere. It's such a loud sound.
is that what they're doing, pranking you guys and stuff?
Yes, he's in handcuffs.
Okay, that's what
I like the subtitles.
Surrounding my house right now.
is that what they're doing, pranking you guys and stuff?
Is that what they're doing? Frank any dinosaurs? Incredible.
He's in handcuffs.
Okay, that's what I actually.
right there? Yeah, I know Aiden. Happened to Aiden last night. Same thing. Same thing.
We were worried about you.
Who said that?
It's
How do
from
they know? How
the
do they?
helpline. They had your address, his name, is
These
everything.
people was pranking. Y'all gonna have to figure this out. Y'all gonna have to figure.
I explained them the SWAT. They're
Let's get him on the hook.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to me, it's hard to really explain, tell y'all what's really going on.
The officers eventually determined that
We obviously need more police officers that understand the gaming culture. Okay, that I'm telling you, gamers are the most oppressed group in the whole fucking world, dude.
Mr. Watkins had been swatted and did not pose an actual threat, and they released him from the back of the vehicle. It is unclear whether Mr. Watkins intends to file a complaint or take any legal action against the officers involved. As of the date of this episode, the individual who swatted Mr. Watkins has not been publicly identified. Overall, the Cincinnati officers get a C, because although they were not overly aggressive in their demeanor, they repeatedly talked over Mr. Watkins instead of listening to him and used unnecessarily restrictive detention methods on Mr. Watkins, even after several individuals had explained that this was an instance of swatting. While I appreciate
Well, I don't know. I feel like I get it as a boomer myself. I understand. I feel like the way they reacted makes the most sense to me. From their perspective, they don't know what the fuck a streamer is. He's like, you know what streaming is? And the guy's like, I guess. Like I heard my nephew say something about a twatch. Something about a twatch and a YouTubes. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it.
that the officers did not use physical force or otherwise
I wish they would let him put a shirt on.
escalate the situation. There was absolutely no reason to handcuff Mr. Watkins and place him in the back of the police cruiser once they confirmed he did not have a weapon on his person, as Mr. Watkins remained cooperative and non-violent throughout the encounter. And by the time they put him in the cruiser, at least 2 different individuals had confirmed that the call was made by a swatter, and there was no
What do you mean, Papa? Gamers and police have a lot in common. That's true. Very incredibly racist. That's a good point.
legitimate threat. The officers repeatedly demonstrated that they did not understand what swatting was, for instance, by making comments implying that Mr. Watkins had made the call himself as a prank. And although I understand that they may not have dealt with this issue before,
Well, that makes sense. I can see why they think that.
Cincinnati, Ohio, I would encourage them to educate themselves on the subject, considering how prevalent it has become in the field of modern policing.
That's fair. But that's like a police training protocol that would have to be like wide. So imagine sitting down and like watching, like I swear to God, imagine sitting down as like a police officer getting trained and like basically watching this video, because this would be a good video for them to watch. Just sitting there, part of your training, you're in your fucking whole suit, you're a cadet, and you just see this kid's face. That would be incredible. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Mr. Watkins gets an A for maintaining a relatively calm demeanor throughout the encounter, exercising patience while the officers attempted to understand the situation, and expressing his disagreement with the officers' overly restrictive methods of detention. While I do not have enough information to make an informed assessment of the constitutionality of the officers' actions, it is certainly feasible that they violated Mr. Watkins' rights by detaining him, handcuffing him, and placing him in the police cruiser.
You super chatted $1.99. Wanted to wish you Happy New Year, Papa Gut, heart.
Thank you so much. Happy New Year to you too.
Actually, without reasonable suspicion. I commend Mr. Watkins for making rational decisions when faced with an unforeseen, frightening situation. And although he could have expressed a stronger dissent to his restrict,
Honestly, he should have just started like speaking fake like Chinese to them. That might have got him off. I don't know. I'm surprised he didn't try pranking the cops. That would be kind of funny. He should have just pranked the cops. It would have been a little funny. Imagine like he reached for something, but it's like, oh, it's just my wallet. Although that would have been a pretty bad prank. That actually would have went pretty south. Yeah, that wouldn't have been a good prank. Yeah, don't do that. But you know, that's my thing. Like anytime I get pulled over by the police, you know, they'll pull me over. I pull over, and they'll ask me to put the windows up. Oh, something up. So I roll the window down, and then they'll be like, "Oh, can I see your license and registration?" So I lean over, I get my license out of the side of my car, and then I go to get my wallet, and what I do with that's like, oh, got our hands. You want to make sure you do it as quick as possible, so that you know, you don't want to waste the police officer's time. That's really what it comes down to. You know, they don't like it when you waste their time. So you have to do it like really quickly, you know, very quickly. You want to just kind of like grab it out, boom, almost aggressively, because this way they know that you take them seriously and you respect them, because you're not wasting any time by pulling out your wallet. So that's just some advice to you guys. I recommend taking it. I don't recommend taking it.
Detention. I certainly understand why he chose to simply comply in this situation. Finally, the swatter gets an F for senselessly placing Mr. Watkins and his family in potential danger, wasting community resources on a prank, diverting law enforcement officers away from protecting against actual crime, and likely committing state and federal criminal offenses.
I agree.
Swatting is not only illegal, but it can also be deadly, and multiple people have been killed during various swatting incidents.
That's true. But imagine this guy gave him like a D, the swatter. You know what I mean? He's like, you did all these bad things, but you got a good story. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Contrary to what some individuals believe, swatting is not a harmless prank, and I would strongly urge the swatter to reconsider any plans they have to swat again in the future. Let us know if there is an interaction or legal topic you would like us to discuss in the comments below. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to check out my second channel for even more police interaction content.
Okay. Well, that was definitely an interesting video. Learned a little too much, but Papa, what is your favorite white privilege? Oh, wow. There's so many. I think my favorite is being able to eat cheese.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.